What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some very important levels to be watching for and how things are looking in my personal opinion. But before I break the devil's information, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. Deposit $25,000 or more, you guaranteed 75 of them, and the offer ends very soon in just 8 days. Anyways, for the QQQ, we're going to be watching some very, very important levels. I have a very, very tight time frame because the market's been very choppy today so far, at least during the day. Not during the day, during the first hour. And I just want to say that right now, the market is making a bigger move. We're starting to see a shift in volatility. Let me make this very, very simple. So for the QQQ, we're going to start off with the triple Q. If this thing starts to push a little higher, we have this resistance building right here at this 416 zone. And we're trying to hold 415 as support. If we lose 415, you guys can see how buyers are trying to defend it right here. We're going to be looking for a move all the way down to fill this gap at 413.9. And our next support is going to be all the way down to 413. So we're going to be watching this very, very carefully to see how well we hold up. I'm seeing buyers trying to defend us, but we have this big open gap that could get filled. So just be careful. We're going to be watching to see if we end up losing support or not. As of right now, we're holding 415. So we're going to be very patient with this one and see what this ends up doing. But just be mindful, guys, that the market is kind of choppy. The price action is not the best, and there is still that risk of this open gap to fill. The market was trying to bounce in the morning, but we haven't been able to get much of a bounce so far. You can see on the QQQ, it was trying really, really hard to push in the very, very beginning of the day. But we saw this nice little this was like a little stop trigger right over here that formed before we ended up getting this rejection. So we ended up coming back down. I'm seeing a little bit of weakness on the charts, and there is this risk of the gap fill on the QQQ. The same thing can be said about SPY, as we had a very similar setup. We had this nice little channel that developed with resistance at this 498.25 area. Then we had support at 497. We were going back and forth for the first hour, and just recently, in the last 15 minutes, we just broke below structure right over here at the support. So I'm seeing a little bit of weakness on this chart. If we continue to lose support at 496.25, there's going to be a risk of this dipping a bit lower to at least 495.5. That's where we have these wicks over here. And that's where this previous support zone happened to be. We're not going to actually just straight up fall, though, because you can see buyers are still trying to defend. They're still fighting. And the market is still chopping around quite a bit. So watch this resistance at 497 the closer we get to it, and then watch and see if we hold support at 496.25. There is that risk of a little bit more downside for the short term, but I still think the market could bounce later on. I want to make that very, very clear. I still hold that view, but for now, there's still a risk in this market. So just be very careful as we hold these levels. The market is still kind of trading sideways. Tesla was very, very interesting. So Tesla opened up. Actually, this is during the pre-market. We were right here. So this is how we kind of started off during the pre-market. We gapped down, started to sink all the way down here. We were trying to hold 140, then we dipped a little bit before we got this nice little push up to about 144. But Tesla was not able to break past this resistance zone right here. We ended up getting a rejection, and now we're coming back down to about 140. So you can see Tesla's showing a little bit of weakness over here. It's showing some weakness. We failed to get a clean break of our 200 EMA. We failed to get back above and hold above 144. If we held above 144, we would have been in a good place. But Tesla's looking a little bit lackluster. Watch 140 is our key support. If we lose this, 138 is coming next. And then we have 136.6 below that. For resistance, watch 142. Just know that Tesla is still a little bit lackluster, but we're seeing buyers trying to defend 140 right now. So we might see a lot of sideways price action within this range. So just be careful and keep this in the back of your mind. Moving forward, we also have Aapl stock. Aapl is kind of flat right now, but we did form a double top structure, and we were kind of struggling at this 165 area. I just want to make it very clear that we have resistance at 165.5. If we reject off here, and we look at our next support around 165 flat. If we lose 165, there's a big gap to fill all the way down to about 164.5. So just be careful on Aapl. There is a risk of a little bit of downside that could slow the market down a bit. But we're not really losing the structure yet. We haven't lost 165, this zone, quite yet. So we're not really filling the gap. We have a double top structure that does look a little bit more bearish, but Apple hasn't really lost key support yet. So we're going to be very, very careful right here just to see how it holds up. I'll be watching to see how this goes. I could adjust this a little bit more just to make this like a little bit clearer to understand. We're still holding this support right here. We had this other one over here. That's going to be our next resistance. So Apple showing a little bit of weakness. And then we also have the notorious Nvidia stock. This is showing some life, but just be careful, guys, because Nvidia looks like it's just going to range trade. We have 800 as key resistance all the way up here. And then we also have this support to be watching for at 767. So we have this 800 zone as our resistance. Our other resistance levels can be right here around this 780 area. And then we have this support at 767. Nvidia might just kind of trade sideways here for the time being. So just be careful and very, very mindful of this. And as for the overall markets, we're still seeing lots of like sideways price action, but don't forget these gaps are still open. So just be careful with those. And then for a few more, we have Coinbase. Coinbase got this nice little gap up during the pre-market. We got a nice push up, but now we're gonna be watching to see how well we hold from here. We had this resistance right over here. We called this out at 226, and our next support is currently at about 221. If we lose that, watch 219, and we'll see how this holds up. We could actually dip a little bit more, but watch and see if we could hold 219. On Amazon, we attempted to break out and bounce. We were trying to push up to 180, and the move failed. Amazon's coming back down. So we might come down to fill this gap in just under 174. So just be a little bit careful with Amazon. There's some weakness on the charts. Same thing with Meta. Meta is doing something very, very similar. Meta attempted to break out and push for about 492, came just short, came just short of resistance and rejected. Now we're continuing to fall all the way down here. We're actually below this channel that we had marked earlier. So Meta is looking a bit more bearish. And I see a risk of this actually dipping a bit more. We're seeing a weakness on the chart. Watch 475 is our key support. But just know that it's not in the best of places. We might see a lot of choppy price action here. Still not looking that great. Despite the fact that the VIX is down a little bit, the market is still kind of struggling. I am seeing potential in SPY, at least right here. But just know that, and let me just make it really clear, the gaps are still open and there's still a little bit of weakness on this chart because we haven't been able to crack past this resistance and this channel is still, we still kind of hit the lower end of this channel. So just be very mindful of that. With that being said, we'll see how things go, guys. Just know we have this big gap below, and we're going to be very patient with the market. There's a little bit of weakness, but we have these key levels, and just be very, very careful. All right. So that's your quick intraday update. Please have a great day, guys. I hope you guys take care, and I will most definitely see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. So I'll be gone until about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Around that period, I might be back. So I'll see you guys in just a few hours. Take care, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, and peace out.